Hi friends, Kayleigh with Kayleigh's Canvases here. I'm coming to you guys today to paint a nice picture, an easy painting for May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And it's going to be just a really easy kind of a silhouette painting for Darth Vader. So I'm just going to start off by painting a simple background. So the background is literally just going to be all black. So I'll just start by painting my canvas black. So if you're going to be painting along with me, which my son is going to join me in just a few minutes, but he is finishing up school right now. So I'll just, while I'm painting this black background, I'll just go over with you the supplies I have here. So if you want to paint this on your own, or if you want to paint it with me, you can feel free to jump in. It won't be too hard to catch up because it's just a super easy background. So I just have, you can use any size canvas. Right now I just have a black canvas, and I'm just going to paint the whole entire thing black, including the sides. I always try to do the sides of my canvases. And I'm going to paint my son's canvas black too because he's on his virtual class and he'll be joining me shortly. So we're just going to be painting this black. I do have a hair dryer with me, and for this I'm just painting this with a really big flat brush so I can do the background quickly. But I have a hair dryer with me so that way I can quickly dry my canvas, because you will want your canvas to be dry for this silhouette painting. It's just going to be an easy silhouette of Darth Vader, and we'll put a lightsaber in there. So really the only colors we're going to be using for this painting, and this is kind of an experiment on my part because I haven't painted this yet, but I'm going to try. Alright, so bear with me if it doesn't come out great. But all we need is black, white, and red, because it's that easy. And we're going to paint the whole entire thing black. We'll dry the canvas, and then we'll start with the silhouette. Sorry for my hand being in the way. So if you are hopping on and you want to just watch this for fun, or if you want to paint along, feel free to do so. If you don't have time to watch this video because you're just scrolling through Facebook or whatever and you want to watch it but you don't have time, just share it to your personal Facebook page, and you can always, that way it's easy to find and you can always come back to it later. So I'm just gonna quickly touch up the edges of my canvas. Are you done, Nicholas? Alright, well then you can hop in and I will give you my son is done with his classes. He's going to join in now. I'm going to give him my paintbrush to use. He's not a painter, doesn't really like it all that much, but he likes Star Wars. Alright, so here you go, bud. You can use my paintbrush. Alright, so I'm quickly just going to dry this. You can grab some more paint. I'm just going to dry this real quick. So I'm sorry if it's loud, but we are going to start with like just a basic silhouette. And when we do this, we're going to, like I said, we're going to add some red and white in here. But red isn't really going to show up on the black, so we're definitely going to need to make sure we get that white down first for the silhouette. So that way the red really pops and stands out. And you can see how quickly this is drying. If you are painting with me, I would love to hear you say, just, you know, go ahead and comment and say, hey, I'm painting with you. And also, if you do paint with me, please share. Ooh, I apologize for that. Please just share a picture of it. I love to see people's finished work. Alright, so I have a dry canvas. Alright, so my son is painting his canvas real quick. So I'm just going to grab, so for the silhouette, I've got just a round brush. It's a little bit bigger than a fine liner brush, but it's just a round brush. It's great for just doing like small details. Maybe you don't want it super small, but you want it to be a little bit bigger than normal. Like you don't want it to be super like hair size. Kayla says, I will paint this in a minute. What colors do I need? So Kayla, you're going to need black for the background, and then you're just going to need white and red. Really simple. We're going to keep it nice and short and sweet because my kids have baseball and softball today, so in a little bit. So we're going to have to paint quickly. So that's why I said if you can't keep up or you want to paint later, you can feel free to save this to share it to your Facebook page. Alright, so I'm just going to use my fine liner brush and I'm going to get a little bit of white paint on, and we're going to start with a silhouette. Alright, everybody that watches Star Wars knows that Darth Vader wears this helmet that kind of comes, it's rounded at the top and it kind of flares out a little bit. So we're going to start with just the outline of it. Alright, and my recommendation is, I mean, if you want to draw this out first, that's fine, so that way it'll help you. You know, you can use a pencil, and you will be able to see pencil on the black, I promise, because it's made out of graphite, so it will show. But I'm just going to do like a thin line. That way if I don't like the shape, I can always change it. But also, something fun that I was thinking about putting in this painting, because I've seen, you know, other silhouette paintings. We're just going to do a half silhouette. I've seen other silhouette paintings, and they're okay. They're great. But I wanted to add just a little bit of a flair to it, and I'm gonna add his lightsaber. Darth Vader has a red lightsaber. All right, Nicholas, if you wanna, I'm gonna just dry his canvas really quick so he can hop in and join us. So don't mind my blow dryer. It'll dry super quick. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. It'll be dry in about 10 seconds or less. So Nicholas, you're going to want to have your canvas vertical like I have mine. All right, go ahead and set it down flat. All right, here's a fine liner brush for you. All right, so we're going to start up here like I have. All right, you don't want to be dead in the middle. You want to be a little bit, yep, about right there. And you're just going to do a rounded helmet, just like the top of his helmet. You don't want to be super thick, and you want to go in the opposite direction, Nicholas. Yep, you want to go that way. All right, and so we're just going to take it out, and now it's where it's going to flare. All right, so we're just going to give it that little flare where it comes out. And if you don't like the shape of it, you can always go in and erase it with just by, you know, letting it dry and painting over it black. All right, so Nicholas, I think you have yours backwards, but that's okay. Here, bring this down a little bit right here, and you can do yours in the opposite direction of me. So there you go. That'll be the top of his helmet. All right, so now we're just gonna, so that we've got the basic shape of his helmet. All right, and we're gonna do kind of like just above his eye, all right, where it would kind of come out. So you see how it's kind of rounded right here? That's close to about the spot where we're going to start. So this is like right above his nose right here, and then we're just going to go up just slightly, and we're just going to come down with it. Okay, we're just going to come down with it and kind of meet right there. Okay, and anything we don't like, if we make any little boo-boos, like even this right here, like I can always cover that up with some black paint. But this is just to get a basic silhouette. All right, and then we're going to draw his shoulder. This is going to be mostly like kind of like a dark muted painting. So even though we're going to have some bright colors in it, it's not going to be super bright. Obviously we got the black background, so that's giving it the illusion that it's obviously wherever he is dark, and you can only see some like highlighted reflections on his helmet. All right, and so we've got the basic shape of that. We're going to come up just slightly because he's probably got a little ridge. I am using a reference picture for what Darth Vader looks like, so I'm kind of just going off of that. So he's got this little ridge that comes up here on his helmet. All right, and just so you guys know, whenever you're painting, don't feel like it's cheating to look at a reference picture. Obviously, you don't ever want to copy anybody's stuff if you're going to sell it. But if you're just painting for fun, you know, then it's okay to look at somebody else's stuff. Right now, I'm just looking at a picture of Darth Vader, just so that way I can get the basic idea. I don't remember. I don't have his whole, you know, I don't have his whole helmet and uniform memorized. All right, but I'm getting that ridge. I'm going up slightly because there's probably like a reflection here. All right, and then I'm not doing like super thick paint on this part. All right, because so what I'm going to do is like where it will fade out and we'll add some color is where I'm kind of like, I see how it's bolder down here and it's a little thinner up here. That's going to give it the illusion of like fading once we add the color. All right, so I'm just going to come on the side here, and I don't want this to be grainy, so I'm just taking my white and I'm just going to add it in because this is really where most of the reflection is coming in and hitting. All right, and I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of a reflection because it kind of grooves in here. All right, so he's probably going to have most of his reflection like coming in from this way. So that's where we're making the light hit. The reflections are wherever the light is hitting. Okay. All right, so we have basic shape, and we can add some more little details later. I want to get the basic shape. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. So we've just got some basic shapes here. And so now we will do his nose, the ridge of his nose and his eye. So I'm going to guess that his nose, by looking at the picture, is probably somewhere around here. All right, and they've just got kind of a weird, like, little half-rounded shape for his nose. Okay, and you can see it's maybe a couple inches down from the roof of his helmet, because obviously that's not going to come down too much onto his nose. Good job, Nicholas. All right, and so now we're going to make some lines up here, because this is like kind of the ridge of his helmet where his nose is, where the ridge of his nose is. All right, and we're going to kind of, he's got this weird kind of like voice box muzzle thing. So I'm going to come around and make his, I don't even know what it's called, whatever it is that he speaks through. All right, so this little line is going around his nose. Okay, and then it kind of comes in like a triangle shape, but because we're only doing half of his face, it's going to be like a half triangle. So we're gonna kind of go out like this. Okay, and you want to come down a good amount, but not too far. All right, and again, I'm still using a light amount of paint because I don't want to overdo it on paint. I can always go back over, but if I decide that I don't like a line or something, it's always easier to cover it up if it's a thin line. And if you like the line, then you can go back over it a little bit brighter. All right, and so now we'll get his eye. All right, and it's not going to be too hard. It's just going to kind of follow the shape of his helmet a little bit. But we want it to be kind of a thin line because you can't see his eyes. All right, we're just seeing the basic shape because he's got that really big mask on. All right, just a basic shape. Okay. And I am going to cover up this little blunder that I did here. I'll just cover that up with some black later. If your paint gets too dry, feel free to water it down just a tiny little bit. Get your brush wet, roll it around in the paint. It'll help make your paint a little smoother. Alright, so I'm just kind of like going over some of these lines, whatever I want to be like a really bright reflection. I'm just going over again with some solid white, just to make it look a little bit brighter. Okay, now he's got some weird little shapes and reflections going on. He's got like a little circle thing right around here. And if this doesn't have to be perfect, because light's going to reflect in weird ways on his helmet. Okay, and he's got a little bit of a reflection here. Kind of like following his cheekbone a little bit. Okay. And this is probably where the side of his face is going to be, because his helmet's kind of wide. So we're just going to go with like a little line. It's going to kind of connect his cheekbone to the corner of his mouth, or whatever you'd call it. Okay, and let's see, a thin little line here. Remember, some of the highlights are not always going to be super thick like this or like this part. Some of them are going to be more thin, and that's okay. It's kind of where his reflection fades a little bit. So I'm just going to add like a little bit of light reflection, not heavy, just like a small amount. And this is just so we can get kind of like a different tone. Once we add the red, you guys will see what I mean, because the white is really going to make these colors pop, because it just won't be as bold if we don't put the white down first. And we're not going to add red in over everything, just over some stuff. All right, and we're just adding, like, my brush is dry. I have my brush dry right now, so I can do some kind of grainy brush strokes, so kind of give it a light reflection, like just barely kind of fading. All right, and let's see. So for his mouth, he's got some like those weird lines in his mouth. Okay. I don't know how many he has exactly. It's kind of hard to see in the picture that I have, but we'll just kind of do them, make them a little higher, and as it goes down, maybe get a little shorter. Okay, so we've got that, and now there's going to be like some like bare resemblance of like a, I don't know, a chin or something wherever. And so I'm just going to kind of do some kind of diagonal lines, or not diagonal, I'm sorry, horizontal lines. We're not really sure what this is. This is just maybe parts of his mask where it meets part of his little uniform here. Okay, but we're gonna, it might look weird now, but we're gonna eventually cover it up with some blue, or with some red. because that's where some of the light from his lightsaber is going to hit. And now we have to make kind of like the top of his uniform. All right, so we're just going to, and we don't even really know what it is, so maybe like a little fold or a flap or something, just some kind of shapes down here that look like it could maybe somehow resemble part of his cape or whatever he wears. Okay, and hi, Scout. My kitty's meowing. If you are watching this on Facebook, I actually forgot to mention, if you're watching this on Facebook, I would love if you like and follow my page. That will give you, you know, little notifications for when I go live and do other paintings and stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and kind of just, that way you can keep updated for anything that you might miss on Facebook, because sometimes Facebook notifications can be a little lax. So this will help you to capture a little more. All right, so we have the basic general shape of Darth Vader. We are going to want to paint his lightsaber, and that's going to kind of come up. I'm going to do it diagonal because I don't want it to block his face. Okay. But I'm still going to use white because, like I said, white is what's going to make it really bold. So you just figure out where you want your lightsaber to be. All right, and I'm going to make it diagonal. Okay, and I'm just going to go in with a nice thick line. My cat's eating. I don't know if you can hear him. That's not exactly the sound I want in the background of my video. Nicholas, you're doing a good job. I can't wait to see how it comes out. All right, so we're going to make this line, we're starting thin, we're going to make it thicker. All right, so the lightsabers are thick, but they're not super thick. They just have like a nice glow around them, which we'll use that faded out method in a little bit just for the lightsaber. If your paint gets too dry, my brush is getting a little bit of resistance, so I had to add some water into it. All right. Scout. That's loud, Scout. My cat's name is Scout, if anybody's wondering. No, I didn't name my kid Scout. Okay, so we've pretty much got our lightsaber line. Is that as thick as you want to do your line, Nicholas? All right, and now I am going to do that kind of like faded, like kind of like the glow around it. I kind of need my brush to be dry, so I'm just gonna dab it off on my paper plate a little bit, trying to wipe off some of that paint so I can get like a little glow around it. All right, so we just want that dry look. If anybody's just hopping on, we're just painting Darth Vader for May 4th, just for some fun. Just a quick little practice thing here. I've never actually painted Darth Vader before, but I figured I could maybe do a silhouette painting. I could probably do a lot of good paintings, but in a quick hurry, we do silhouettes. Okay, so you see how my dry brush is creating that like soft fuzzy illusion around it, you know, because we don't want it to be super thick because his lightsaber is not that thick. All right, it's just going to create a glow. So with a basically dry brush, just a little bit of white paint on it, we're just adding some dry white paint around it. just to give it that illusion. All right, and let's see. All right, I think I've got it most of the way done, and now is our time to add in some red paint. This is actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, Nicholas. Okay, so red paint time. We will start with the thick, bold areas. We're not going to do everything all red. We're going to kind of ease into it. All right, you don't want to paint, actually, let me blow dry this. Sorry, guys. I should actually note that if you try to paint on this with wet paint, your red will blend in with the white and it will make it look pink. And we don't want Darth Vader to look pink. We want him to look black, white, and red. All right, so don't mind my blow dryer for a minute. Okay, let me see your canvas, bud. All right, so we're just drying this because we don't want to have any pink in our Darth Vader. If you are just hopping on, don't mind the sound of my blow dryer. Just trying to get this dry so we can make sure we get some nice red coverage instead of pink. I'm going to dry my son's too. He's got his going on here. I like it. He's got the reverse. He's got the other half of mine. It's pretty good. It matches up pretty good. Alright. So we're just going to dry it real quick so we don't get any pink. And like I said, if you're just hopping on and you want to paint this with us, definitely, you know, feel free to share this to your page. That way you can go back easily and watch it. And if I go too fast for you in my video, that way it's kind of nice. That way if I go too fast, you can just pause it and press play whenever you're ready to go on to the next step. We don't want any pink, so we got to make sure this white is dry. I do apologize for the loud sound. Yeah, thanks, Aunt Stephanie. My aunt is watching, and she was saying it does. They both go together kind of nicely. All right, here you go, Nicholas. All right, so now I can start in with my red. All right, and I will start with the spot that, you know, that's going to be on the thickest part so we can get that in, and then we'll do the glow at the end. All right, we'll just kind of, we're not going to totally cover the red or the white. We're just going to add some highlights. All right, you can see how the white is helping the red to stand out. And you can always go over with a second layer of paint when you're done if you want it to be a little bit more bold. Sometimes red paint can be a little translucent, just a little bit. And anything we don't like, we can always go over with black to cover it up after. Like this little part here that I did with the white, I'll be going over that after. So you can do this with any color. I just figured red because his lightsaber is red. Right, Nicholas? I'm hoping I'm doing this with the right color lightsaber. Mm-hmm. Yeah, his lightsaber is red. All right. And we'll probably put more red when we're in the areas that it's closest to the lightsaber, because obviously the light's going to be reflecting more. Oh, Kayla, Nick decided to join you? That's so awesome. We got Kayla is one of my friends, and she loves to paint, and so she's painting She started painting this, and then her son Nick wanted to join in. And it's funny because she's Kayla, I'm Kayleigh, and she's got her son named Nick, and I have a son named Nick. I don't know why I find that fascinating. It's really the little things that amuse me. All right, and so this still does have a little hue of pink in it, but like I said, we'll go over with that dark, another layer of red to make it darker, more bold. So the thick part of the lightsaber, that's the most bold, we're just going to go over with red all the way up the whole thing. I like Star Wars. I'm not like a huge fan, but I do like to watch it. I kind of like sci-fi. If anybody else likes sci-fi, put it in the comments. Tell me that I'm not the only dork. Okay, let's see. Gotta get some red down here. All right, and if you want to do a second layer, it's always best to wait for it to fully dry. If not, you're just kind of pushing around the first layer. So this lightsaber that we want to make brighter will look definitely a lot better if we wait till it dries before we do the second layer. Okay, I'm gonna go, let's see, kind of up on the mouth a little bit. All right, and we're just kind of highlighting some of these parts, you know, just to give it color and make it stand out a little bit better. Give it more of a 3D look, but you don't want to cover up all the way. If you notice, I'm not covering up. Ooh, my paintbrush broke. I need a new paintbrush. But yeah, so we're not covering up all the way. We're just doing, you know, the areas that are going to be darker with less light is going to be the ones where you're going to cover it up. So like this part down here, I'm covering up with mostly all red because this is a darker part. But the parts where there's more light hitting, we're going to make sure we leave a good amount of white. And oh, Kayla said that Nick likes R2-D2. I like R2-D2. I like C-3PO though, because he's kind of a dork, and he never really gets what he wants. I think it's funny. Okay, and so if you want to do the parts where it's kind of like faded, you definitely want to have that kind of mostly dry brush like we talked about before. You want to rub a lot of the paint off and try to go in with some mostly dry brush, just a little bit of paint on it. Right. I don't want my tip of my brush to fall off again. You can, if you get red on the black part, it's okay. It's not really going to show that much. All right, let's get a little bit of blue here. We're almost done, guys. This is a pretty quick and easy painting. It's really not bad. Okay. I'm I'm going to thin my brush down a little bit, water it down just so that way I can get kind of a sharper point for this. Because I want to get a line along here without covering up the whole thing. So, alright. Now, to do that faded part, we're going to go in with, like I said, pretty much a dry brush. And just kind of like I said, just very dry. Go over what you've done and it'll just give it that, you know, you can see it's not like covering the whole thing. It's just giving it kind of like a glowing effect. Mostly dry. All right, and we'll go over with another layer of red along the edges. Scout, do not come up here. Okay. Are you gonna kitty bomb? Don't drink my paint water. Sorry guys, I gotta get my cat out of here. Oh. I don't want you sick on kitty water, Scout. Or paint water. Alright, so let's get some more red. Something looks off about his helmet, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more red. Maybe add a little bit of red up here. Okay, we are almost done. I think I'm just going to add a little bit more red around his lightsaber, like on the edges of it, but let me blow dry this real quick just so I can see where I'm at with this, because I definitely, if I'm going to do a second layer, I need it to be dry. So don't mind the loud noise again. If you are just hopping on, I am painting Darth Vader with my son. He's got his here. We are making, they kind of connect. That was totally on accident though. He did his backwards, but it came out just fine. It kind of fills the other half of my picture. Oh, it's good. And guys, so today's May 4th, and tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. I'm contemplating on what I should paint tomorrow. So if you have any ideas, I'm thinking either a sugar skull or a margarita I might paint. You tell me, what would you paint for Cinco de Mayo? What'd you say, Nicholas?
Marigold.
A marigold for
it's the flower that they use, I think.
Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna add some more. Oh, that's your brush. I'm gonna add some more red. Just to make it brighter. Scout, why do you keep jumping up here? Oh, he's all out of water. That's why. Okay, I don't neglect my cat, I swear. He's just out of water. Okay, I'm gonna leave a little bit of like that pinkish, the lighter red in the middle, just a little bit, so I can kind of make it kind of look a little 3D-ish. Alright, and if you do whoever ends up painting this, please share. I know I repeat myself all the time, but I really love to see, and I feel like people get really shy and nervous to share their artwork. But I would really love to see it. It makes me happy when I know that I can help people learn how to paint, or just to have fun and relax. Are you going to give Scout some water?
I did.
Oh, thank you. He's saying thank you too. He's drinking his water. Alright, and I think the only thing I missed was just a little line under here. And then I'll go in and cover up with black the couple spots that I didn't like. Okay, let's see. I didn't like this. Alright, and I didn't like this little line right here. And I think we are done. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are watching this on Facebook, please like and share this video. You could share it to your page if you want, so that way you can go back and rewatch it. And if you are watching this on YouTube, I would love for you to like and subscribe. Like this video and hit subscribe on my page, because I would love to grow my YouTube channel. I really need to work on that. Aunt Stephanie says I should paint a margarita tomorrow for Cinco de Mayo, so we might have to do that. Listen, suggestions get the win. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and this was actually pretty easy and a lot of fun. And if you do decide to paint it, make sure you sign your name. I always forget to sign my name. But it was very fun painting with you, and I can't wait to paint with you guys again tomorrow. Alright, bye.